Malcolm X in 1965, I'm reading, by the way, from a book called Malcolm X Speaks. It's a collection of his speeches published by Pathfinder. Malcolm X Speaks, Selected Speeches and Statements. This is what Malcolm X said in 1965. Now, the reason 1965 is an important year is because 1965 is when the first hip-hoppers, the first group of hip-hoppers that would become the golden age were born. The first hip-hoppers were really born between 1950 and 1970, this 20-year period. But in 1965, there was massive turmoil going on in the country. I was born in 1965. So I find this year very interesting, and I find what Malcolm X also was assassinated in 1965. But one of his last statements here in 1965 was to a group of young students, young people. This is what he said. In America, students have been noted for involving themselves in panty raids, goldfish swallowing, seeing how many can get into a phone booth, not for their revolutionary political ideas or their desire to change unjust conditions. But some students are becoming more like their brothers around the world. Speaking of the revolutionary young people that were fighting all over the world. However, the students have been deceived somewhat in what's known as the civil rights struggle, which was never designed to solve the problem. The problem is racism, is what he's dealing with. Civil rights, he says, never was designed to solve the problem. It was pretty much designed to deal with the problem, to live in the problem, to find better ways to accept the problem. But civil rights, according to Malcolm X, never dealt with the problem. The students were maneuvered in the direction of thinking the problem was already analyzed. So they didn't try to analyze it for themselves. Malcolm X is saying that the students were maneuvered in the direction of thinking that the problem was already analyzed. Racism had already done, we already got this, don't worry, we already got it. So they didn't try to analyze it for themselves. In my thinking, Malcolm X says, if the students in this country forgot the analysis that has been presented to them, underline the word forgot. In my thinking, if the students in this country forgot the analysis that has been presented to them and they went into a huddle and began to research this problem of racism for themselves, independent of politicians and independent of all foundations which are part of the power structure, and did it themselves, then some of their findings would be shocking. But they would see that they would never be able to bring about a solution to racism in this country as long as they're relying on the government to do it. This is very interesting what Malcolm is saying, because this statement is what is the fundamental of hip hop. The fundamental of hip hop is rethinking the entire society that you're in. This is what created hip hop. Hip hop was not created because MTV appreciated its existence and decided to bring it up and broadcast it to the people. Hip hop was created by sidestepping the norm. Many of us in this room today, man, maybe all of us, have situations that we are in that appear to be normal. And people are telling you, don't go against the norm. Stay in your place. Just chill. What you angry about? What you so? You got this. You got that. You're living here. You're driving that. But hip hop impresses upon your soul to always rethink the norm. Malcolm X tells us here that by rethinking what you think is normal, by rethinking the society, by rethinking the foundations of society, this is how you deal with the problem of racism. You don't ask the government to do it for you. You rethink the situation, the whole society, yourself. I'm here to tell you today that a lot of you are going through situations that you're like in a crossroads because hip hop puts you in that mode. Hip hop has one thought, but the society is thinking something else. And as a hip hopper, you're constantly in flux in between my job, my school, my this, my that, my the other, versus my soul. My soul, who I am, who am I? Most of us live these double lives. We know who we are, but then when we step out in the street, we have to suppress that because who we are is illegal.